Hi guys, it's Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com. I'm here in our kitchen to give you a 1-year update on our painted kitchen counters. It's been a bit of a fail for us, but that doesn't mean it's not a good option for you. So about a year and a half ago, we started the process of redoing our kitchen on a very, very tiny budget. We painted the cupboards up here, we raised them up to the ceiling, we added a shelf down here for more open storage space, which is super trendy. It's also nice to have more flat space when I'm cooking. I can set recipe cards or my phone up here or extra ingredients because we have very limited counter space. I'm very happy with all of the stuff that we've done, all the updates that we've made in our kitchen. I'm not so happy with the way our counters have turned out, and here's why. We painted them a little over a year ago. So we painted them in January of 2019 and it's February of 2020. They've held up very well considering the fact that they're paint. So this is not natural stone, and even if with natural stone, some, counters are more high maintenance than others. Here are some of the, areas that you should watch out for, or red flags that might make this a bad option for your family. We are tough on our countertops. We've got 2 little kids, I've got a dog. We're a very busy family, stuff going in and out. I don't always have time to take as good of care of our countertops as we should. Also, we don't really have a mudroom or a formal entry. We use the side door off the kitchen here, so often this section of counter space becomes our landing spot for lunch boxes, for my purse, for grocery bags, for things, don't forget the swimming bag. I'll put it on the end of the counter so I see it before we run out the door to swimming lessons, stuff like that. And painted counters are susceptible to staining and scratching. In the 12, 13 months that we've had our countertops painted, we have only had like 1 real scratch, and that was totally my fault. We had the big old crock pot sitting on the counter, and I lifted one side of the handle to drag the crock pot, which I shouldn't have done. You shouldn't drag things across a painted surface. And because the crock pot was at a bit of an angle, there was a screw on the bottom of the crock pot that left a 2.5-inch scratch on the countertop. Totally my bad, but life is busy and sometimes I can't pick the crock pot up by both handles and move it. So, we ended up with 1 small scratch, but in a year for, 1 scratch, I think we're doing pretty good there. But you also have to be aware of water. You don't want to let water sit or pool on the painted surface. I've had this issue with our our coffee pot, where the coffee pot will end up with water pooling underneath, and if it sits overnight, the paint does this weird bubbly thing where it kind of like bubbles up and it looks like it's going to peel off, but if you just don't touch it, just leave it and let it dry, it'll actually smooth back down and it's like nothing ever happened. But it's just still like one more thing to think about. The other thing is staining, and this is kind of a problem with doing such a white countertop kit. So when I painted these counters, I did a coat of black primer, and then you took a sponge with like a medium gray, a light gray, and a white, and you sponged on in layers. And at first, when I did my first go, the countertop was more of a gray, and then I went back because I thought I wanted a white kitchen. Don't we all? Not very practical. So I did another layer of white. If I were to do this exact kit again, I would skip that last extra layer of white and just have more of a gray look. The white paint is very susceptible to staining, and it means that you have to be very vigilant about cleaning up. There's a section of our counter right next to the stove, and we make eggs in the morning. So if any oil or egg, like especially egg yolk, that will leave yellow stains on the countertop, and you just have to wipe it away right away. And if you scrub at it even harder to get it away, what you'll end up doing is just wearing away at the clear protective surface on the counter, which is not what you want. You also have to be careful. I've got little kids and they love to bake and make cupcakes and cookies. and with the food dye especially, that's very scary with this white countertop. So if I were to paint counters again, I would probably go with like a gray or a black kit. I absolutely love the look of soapstone countertops, so I think doing like a soft black would actually be really, really gorgeous. But we're ready to move on from painted counters, and here's kind of what pushed us over the edge. Like I said, we use this kind of as a landing zone. I was out with the kids late one night. We were at an event. We came home, it was well past everyone's bedtime, and I'm sure moms and dads can relate to this. You tell the kids, okay, when you're in the car on the drive home, when we get home, do not pass go, do not collect $200, take your shoes off at the door and march your butt straight up to bed. And that's what we did. I threw our bags and our picnic bag on the counter, and I said, I'll deal with it all in the morning. I'm exhausted. We're going to bed. Well, I came down the next morning, and our bags were still there, but one had tipped over, and glow sticks had fallen out of the bag and were resting on the countertop. And overnight, the glow sticks had started to leak. And I don't know what scary chemicals they put in glow sticks, but whatever that liquid was, it had started to eat through the layers of the paint on the countertop, exposing the black primer underneath. I didn't know how to repair or patch. I had leftover paint from the paint kit, but it's like, how do you just repair this one small area without it like standing out? Do I have to repaint all the counters? I'm not going to repaint all the counters, you know, knowing now what I know about how gentle you have to be with them. So we're ready to move on. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I call it glow stick gate. That was a rough morning to come down and find the glow sticks had eaten through our paint surface. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna go with concrete. I did this concrete skim coat overlay on a dining table in our last house, and it's held up very well. I've since improved on the process, done a little bit more research. So this weekend I'm gonna sand everything down and we're gonna put a layer of concrete. And I think it's just gonna be better suited for our family and our needs, just because we are not gentle on our countertops. That's just who we are. So I guess in conclusion, you know, paint kits are a great option for a lot of people, especially if you're an older couple and your kids have left the nest, or you're more responsible than we are with your things and you don't, and you can take better care of your countertops. You just have to watch out for scratching and for staining. Staining can easily be resolved if you do, you know, a gray or a black kit instead of insisting on having the white. So that's our update. It's been the countertops, they lasted a year, a little over a year, before needing to be replaced. It's a great budget-friendly option if you have laminate countertops that you just can't afford to completely replace. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, happy making. Bye.